What seems harmless but is incredibly dangerous? Water in general, but fast-moving water specifically. 2 or 3 inches of water is all that's needed to sweep you off of your feet if it's moving fast. 12 inches of water will lift and sweep away a car. Water is heavy and will fuck you up if you don't respect it. Grapefruit juice. By itself it's perfectly fine, but a lot of people aren't aware that grapefruit juice specifically has interactions with a lot of different drugs, both medical and recreational, and can be potentially very dangerous when combined. I know everyone hates edits, but this got way more attention than anticipated, and I didn't cite any sources in my original post, so, don't take my word for it, I'm just some random internet guy. Here's a page from the FDA, on interactions between grapefruit and several medications. Edit by request. I'm seeing a lot of replies saying that CBD may have similar interactions to grapefruit juice. To be absolutely clear here, I have no idea whether this is accurate or not. This is the first I've heard of it, I've done zero research, and I'm definitely not qualified to speculate on the subject. That said, however, enough people have brought it up that it seems at least worth mentioning. If you are a CBD user and concerned about possible interactions with medications or other substances, please consult a qualified medical professional for advice. Here are a couple of links on the subject of CBD AMP, drug interactions courtesy of User Energy, Taker, LAD. Harvard Health, CBD and other medications, proceed with caution. Forbes, what grapefruit and CBD have in common when it comes to drug interactions?
Hey guys, much like you, I love reading people's stories on Ask Reddit. Unfortunately, there's a lot of weird middle school level, just thought experiment type hypotheticals like nice try Baskin Robbins. I don't find this compelling, so that's why I've made it my mission to trawl and crawl through Ask Reddit and find the very best content and put it in your ears. That's why I'm begging you, like and subscribe. If there's anything I can do to help you out, give you the kind of content that you crave to help you get through your workday, let me know in a comment. But please like and subscribe.
Cat bites. Cat fangs puncture deep and trap bacteria deep within your tissue, leading to horrible infections. You might think one isn't serious because it's not bleeding much, but that just means the wound isn't flushing properly. If you get seriously bitten by a cat, it's very important to go to urgent care so they can properly disinfect the wound. Hanging around idiots. Most of the time they only do dumb shit that affects themselves, but when they do something that affects you, it can change your whole life. So just remember, if you're in with a group of imbeciles, you're rolling the dice with your life every second. It's like standing in low-grade radiation. It's unnoticeable right up until it's incurable. Confined spaces, above ground or worse, below the surface. If you do urban exploration, caving, or anything like that, get a 4-gas detector, clip it to your chest or belt, and set the alarm to max. If it makes a sound, get the fuck out or you're going to die. ER nurse. I had a teenage girl come from home economics class. She was sewing and had a pin between her lips. I mean, who hasn't done that? She sucked it in and it got lodged in her throat. While waiting for a scope, she felt it dislodge and went deep into her main bronchial. She required major surgery. Had a young boy running with a toothbrush in his mouth. Got jammed way deep, almost hit a major artery. This is the concept of an injection injury. This can happen from any highly pressurized liquid like, say, a power washer. Basically, the high pressure shoots bacteria, toxins, foreign material deep into your tissues, which manifests in something much more serious than what appears to be just a deep cut, because the chance for serious infection, like amputation needing infection, is quite high. Usually opening up the entire wound and surgically cleaning all affected tissue out is proper treatment to prevent it from spreadings. I was bitten by my own cat and spent a week in the hospital. Cat was limping, turns out this was due to a spiral fracture. I was trying to get him into a carrier to take him to the vet and accidentally grabbed the broken leg, which I didn't know was broken at the time. He bit me between the knuckles of my index and middle finger. My wife took the cat to the vet while I went to urgent care. They cleaned the wound and prescribed me some oral antibiotics within a few hours of the bite. Of course, this all happens on a Friday. Everything was basically fine on Friday, just a couple cuts and a band-aid. Swelling was worse on Saturday but basically still fine. But by Sunday morning my hand looked like I had a softball growing out of my palm. I couldn't touch my thumb to any of my fingers, it was pouring out nasty looking pus whenever I tried to make a fist, and I started to get red streaks lines going up towards my elbow. My sister-in-law is a pediatrician, so I texted her a pic of it. She called me back almost immediately and told me to go to the emergency room the instant we hung up. I get to the ER and after an hour or so they admitted me to the hospital. I remained in the hospital for 8 days. 4 antibiotics for MRSA and staph every 4 hours to start. Once blood results came back, they determined I had just gotten the wrong type of antibiotic from urgent care, staph positive versus staph negative or some such, so they were able to move me to changing the 4th every 8 hours. Ended up costing more than $12,000 in hospital bills for me and another $2.5K in surgery for the cat. This was a rescue cat we got for free, shots and all. For kids, someone online with a sympathetic ear for their problems. Responsible adults will try to put you in touch with real-life help, not encourage a pattern of reliance and inappropriate intimacy. Bonus danger points on anyone who throws down you're really mature for your age. Predators online work just like real-life hunting predators. Their first goal is to separate you from your herd. When I was buying my house, the inspector went through and gave me tips on how I could fix up some of the issues he found. Mostly stuff like you can prevent mildew by lining the crawl space with more plastic, and if you put more insulation here it'll cut down on your electric bill. Then he got to the stiff garage door spring. Whatever you do, don't try to fix that on your own. Don't even think about it. It'll take your arm off.
Hey guys, do you ever have a problem getting to sleep at night? Well, I've got the magic pill to cure your insomnia. Much like you, I used to twist and turn all night. But then I discovered that you can take melatonin and Valerian Root together to get a good night's sleep every single night. I've been taking it every night for years and years. I've been taking Valerian and melatonin, and this is my life hack to get a good night's sleep and vivid dreams every night. So be sure to click my affiliate links, and I will give you the gift of a good night's sleep.
You also need to clean the vent that goes from the back of your dryer, through your wall, or ceiling, to the outside. Mine is at least 30 feet long, and I cleaned it for the first time this month because my dryer was taking longer and longer to dry clothes. Turns out there was a clog that could have caused a fire, and I pulled out a couple trash bags full of lint. Our house was built in 2004, and by the look of it this might have been the first time anyone cleaned the vent. Kids picking flowers in the park. I am a conservation technician for a county park system. At least once a year I have to stop parents with kids picking flowers off the trail because I see kids with either poison hemlock, one of the deadliest plants if ingesting even a tiny amount, or wild parsnip, which can cause some serious permanent scarring, burns, and boils if the sap gets onto your skin and is exposed to sunlight. Don't let your kids pick or eat anything you aren't 100% following too closely in your car. Not just tailgating, but even following 50 feet behind in fast traffic. Next time you're in your car, wait for the car in front of you to pass a clear marker like an exit sign or a bridge, then count the seconds until you reach this marker. This is the amount of time you have to react, and potentially save your own life, in an emergency. I always shoot for 3 seconds, which is about 20 car lengths in 70 miles per hour traffic. For people who follow a 3 car lengths rule, you have about 4 seconds to react in the same situation, and I'm not that quick under pressure. Pool covers. It's like being wrapped in a bedsheet underwater. You cannot get free and you cannot scream for help. Once you're in, the only way to get out is to be incredibly lucky and get free, or have faith that someone saw or heard you fall in and hope that they get you in time. It's a lengthy, terrifying death that's completely avoidable. One of the funnier parenting stories is my wife took our 2-year-old son to a trampoline place in town. They had a good time, but she was carrying him back to the car and she tripped in a pothole in the parking lot and he fell on his face and had to go to Sickets as he was a bit woozy after. He was fine, but those trampoline places are going to hurt you one way or the other. Stonefish, camouflage fish, very painful venom. Cone snail, orange-white cone-shaped shell that often looks attractive and enticing, until you pick it up. Wow, this blew up in only a couple of hours. THX for all the likes. I found your story so interesting. You can learn about other deadly creatures like these on Nature's Deadliest, National Geographic. Another wow, THX for the award. My roommate worked for a supermarket as a teenager. No one taught him about ammonia and chlorine, bleach, and he mixed both in his mop bucket. A thick fog started radiating from the bucket. He told his manager and, thankfully, the store was evacuated immediately. It's wild that a clueless teen had the ingredients to make World War I-style poison gas just like that. Yeah, Tylenol, acetaminophen paracetamol, is very safe and harmless in appropriate doses, under about 4 grams a day, but very toxic in overdose, which is surprisingly little, usually 10 to 12 grams, but for some people as little as 6 grams. Basically, your liver can handle only so much of it a day, and if you go over that, bad things happen. Overdose can be treated easily if caught early, intravenous N-acetylcysteine, if I recall correctly. However, because people view Tylenol as harmless, and the initial symptoms, nausea, vomiting, stomach pain, and loss of appetite, pallor, tiredness, sweating, are often not that different from what people are taking the Tylenol for. In many cases, people don't go to the hospital for a few days, by which point they're in total liver failure and it's too late for treatment. Was tubing down a river one time and it was pretty slow current, so nice and leisurely. We came up to a log jam, and so the plan was just to jump off and carry our tubes over the jam. I missed my mark and fell into the water and got sucked under the log jam so fast it was crazy. All I remember is seeing logs above me and holding my breath. Luckily my jacket caught on some branches close to where I went in and stopped me from going all the way under to for sure death, I would think. I was able to crawl upside down quickly before I lost my breath and make it to the surface, but even with adrenaline and me being a fairly strong kid for my age, it still took a lot of effort against that current. Just because water looks calm on the surface doesn't mean it is calm in other areas. Give them perspective. I was a pedestrian hit by a truck on a crosswalk. My pelvic injuries were identical to the ones with feet on dashboard, or so the X-ray tech told me. And those techs have access to some medical history. My pelvis was a puzzle and I'm now about 10 pounds heavier because of all my plates. And these injuries also can mess up spine, so they could easily end up in a wheelchair. I sincerely hope they never go through any of the pain I went through. Proofreading is for pansies.
Do you have any idea how convenient it is to use a Keurig machine for brewing coffee or tea? Personally, I gave up coffee a long time ago, but I was able to get a great, delicious cup of coffee in just seconds with no cleanup, no extra work, using a Keurig machine and a K-cup. And now I use my Keurig machine to brew tea, loose leaf tea, every day that I drink. And I also use it to make oatmeal and, anything else that you can put hot water into. So if you don't have a Keurig machine in your house, you're missing out. Try my affiliate link below in the description of the video, and you too can enjoy a great cup of coffee in seconds, any time of day.
My buddy was riding with his brother several years back and had his feet up. They were at a gas station or something, and some random dude came up and told him he should take his feet down because it's dangerous. He did. They got into a terrible accident only minutes later. They were both somehow unharmed. Scary to think what would have happened had that random stranger not spoken up. Edit. Spelling is a bitch. In case anyone else is wondering like I was, one extra strength Tylenol tablet contains 500 mg of acetaminophen, and regular strength contains 325 mg. So 6 grams 12 extra strength or 18.4 regular strength Tylenol tablets. You really don't want to overdose on Tylenol. It's a long and painful way to go. If you need help, call 911 or 112, poison control, or a suicide hotline. If you've OD on Tylenol, it's really important that you get medical help ASAP. There is an effective antidote, but it's most effective if taken within a few hours after overdose, ideally within 10 hours. Call 911 or your local emergency number right away if you think you might have overdosed on Tylenol. Thanks up Purple Jasmine. It can cause a gas or air embolism if inhaled by a pressurized tank. Breathing in pure helium can cause physical asphyxiation in mere minutes. It's all fun and games normally, until you stop laughing literally forever. I never realized it was dangerous until a mother started an educational campaign. Her daughter was inhaling helium at a party for fun with her friends, making the funny voice when she fell back and was dead near instantly. Onions and xylitol, a sweetener, too. Since this got a few upvotes, I'm gonna add the rest of the stuff people have mentioned for reference: chocolate, alum family of plants, garlic, onions, shallots, chives, lilies, azaleas, rhododendrons, unripe tomatoes, avocados, currants, grapes, and nuts. Hope all your pups stay healthy and happy. Also, don't freak out if your dog does happen to get into one of these. Research the dosage specific to your dog's weight and call a vet poison control if you're worried. A little bit of chocolate won't kill a dog, but still be careful.
I turned 36 this year, and I decided to focus on my physical fitness, so I bought a swim club membership. The only problem was, most of the time when I go swimming, I wind up getting an ear infection. So it turns out that normal earplugs, they kind of irritate your ear canal, they don't really work, they don't keep the water out, but there is an amazing kind of earplug. It's called Mack's Pillow Soft Silicone earplugs that, they feel great, they keep the water out 100%, they're reusable, and they don't irritate your ear canal at all, no issues. If you've ever had a severe ear infection, you don't want to experience that again. It can permanently damage your hearing if you're unlucky. So investing in these earplugs is definitely a good idea. Also, when my baby was crying later this year and I could not get to sleep, I used the same earplugs and they worked great. I was able to sleep right next to a crying baby. So be sure to click my affiliate link and purchase some of these Mack's earplugs today.